Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Hawaiiverse podcast, a podcast that supports local by eating lihimui apples and oranges at halftime. I'm your host, Kamaka, and I'm drowning in nostalgia thinking about that. I hope we get some good halftime snacks for this episode. Before we introduce our guests, I just want to remind you about our weekly giveaway on Hawaiiverse and our Patreon. If you love saving money, winning free things, and donating money to support the podcast, check out all of those. Okay, let's introduce our guests. Our guest today is a Native-Hawaiian Puerto Rican professional softball player from the island of Oahu. Not only is she Hawaii's first ever professional softball pitcher, but she is also a model, actress, and philanthropist. This gold medalist is currently playing for the Puerto Rican National softball team and was a former college standout, winning multiple accolades such as all conference honors while also holding records in multiple categories. If she isn't already impressive, she also pitched the first perfect game in Cal's history since 2010. She's my friend, and I'm stoked she's here today. Her name is Xeana Kamalani Dung. Aloha, Kama. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
How's it, guys? How's it going? I'm so stoked to be here with Kamaka.
Yeah, it's always so good seeing you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming from having you on this podcast. We've been trying to plan this, and just the scheduling never worked out, and you also wanted to be the 99th guest, which I don't think you realize that's like a year from now.
I had this really great idea. Kamaka asked me like a few times, like, okay, Kama, you can come on. We got a slot for you. And I was like, okay, perfect. I kind of want to be the 99th episode, though, because my jersey number is 99. And he was like, wow, I love that idea, but I think that'll be like in 2 years. And I was just
actually, I said yeah early on.
Yeah.
And then I was... we were cruising, and I was talking about it with Dylan, and he's like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, Kama wants to be our 99th guest, but I don't think she realized that's like over a year from now. And then you're like, okay, wait, never mind. Well, I'll come on sooner.
Yeah, I was like, okay, fine. I'll be on sooner. What episode is this?
This will be 40 something. I'm not sure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess 44. Hopefully when this comes out, I'm correct.
Close enough.
I always enjoy having people that I, know fairly well on the podcast because, one, I don't have to do as much research, and it's just a different dynamic. I not that I don't enjoy the people that I don't know, because most of the podcast guests that come on, I meet them for the first time on the podcast. But this is cool because it's like I know somebody, but then, I don't know all the details, so I get to research your life a little bit more and find out things that I didn't know. Like, you're the YouTube pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk about that more in the podcast. We have a lot to get into. But before we get into everything, I gotta know classic Hawaii questions. Where are you from? Where are you grad? And what was it like growing up?
Nice. Starting it off strong. Okay, so I was born and raised in Waianae, Hawaii. Makaha, more specifically. I went to Kamehameha schools from kindergarten all the way through graduation. Growing up was awesome. I mean, for me, this is like something that a lot of people ask me, and there's a lot of articles out there on the internet about my upbringing and some of the adversity that I've faced, because I always love to share that part of myself. But, if people were to meet me today, they'll see me with my hair curled, which I did while I was in here, and, wearing my legs breezy. And it's easy to think that, she must have had it pretty easy growing up, or, she must have had a really easy, good life to get to where she is today. And, that's really not the case. Growing up in West Side, I would wake up every day at 4 a.m. to go ride the bus to Kamehameha. There was times where my family, we had an amazing life, and people would come to our house. We had a racetrack in our yard. We had a big farm. And there was times where we were on top of the world. Like, I had some of my friends on my bus, like, gosh, you guys must be the richest family in Waianae or something. So there was some amazing good times. And then there was some times of hardship. My mom ended up having a stroke at one point, and we also faced a little bit of like homelessness throughout my high school career, where there's always that different side to people that actually I'm thankful for, because in the moment I never realized that it was bad because in the moment, you know, you're happy, like whatever you have to eat is like the best meal ever. You don't really know any different if you're sleeping in a car that night or in your auntie's living room on the floor. It's just like, oh, slumber party, good vibes, you know?
Yeah.
So looking back, I can realize like, oh shoot, those were hard times that we were going through. But my mom, my dad, my brother, Lanson, all made it just such a good experience as a child. And then my mom and my brother were really there for me throughout high school and then my college career to where I am today.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting how, you know, childhood perspective and adult perspective, they're totally different.
Yeah.
And it's just like the perspective is such an important thing because, like, say you grow up in a run-down home and all you see is run-down homes. You don't know you're poor or this is an ugly house until you see a mansion.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not until you start comparing that's when you start, you know, that's when things get bad and, you know, you start having all these thoughts like that's, you know, the problem with social media, right? Where you see social media, all these people doing amazing things, becoming successful, whatever it is, and then people just judge people off of that.
Yeah.
But it's like they don't see the struggle, they only see the success, right? So it's like how you say, oh, look, I have my hair curled. First guest to bring a hair what's it called? Flat iron.
A flat iron.
to the podcast and curl her hair before the podcast.
Busy schedule, folks.
Put that in the Hawaiiverse podcast record, world record book. But yeah, it's just...
it's interesting to just think about different perspectives and I think I've been blessed because coming from small town girl in Waianae to now being world traveled, having all these experiences, having medals in the closet, having a degree in the closet. I mean, traveling everywhere that I never would have thought I would have been able to go. Now looking back, it's kind of just, I'm so thankful for everything that I've been through because now I can kind of relate to a huge broad spectrum of people. So it's not like all of this was given to me. I've worked extremely hard to get to where I am today and sacrificed a lot. My family has sacrificed a lot. But I think I'm in a really good place of understanding the grind of, you know, being from Hawaii, being an athlete from Hawaii, being a female athlete from Hawaii. And I understand what that grind is. So now my hope is that I can give back.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that went against you. But you made it out on top, which is really impressive, and I'm so stoked for you. I'm proud of you. When you were growing up, did you have any idols, people you looked up to?
Yeah, I had a lot of idols. My parents were probably my main idols of pushing me to always just have a better life than they had. Both of them were from Waianae. So my mom's whole mission was to get me into Kamamea, and then her main goal was to tell me to go off island to go to college so I could experience life. And she was always the driving factor of just, you know, pushing me to become better in every category, whether it's as a person, whether it's academically, whether it's in sports. She was always pushing me to be the best. So super thankful, and I look up to her as the strongest person I know. And then, of course, there's all the people who paved the way for me. So the Jenny Finches of the world, Kat Ostermans, which I actually got to play pro ball with her, which is such a crazy full circle moment because as a little kid, I looked up to this legend, and then I got my big shot to go pro, and then my first team I was ever on, she drafted me. So it was such a crazy full circle experience. And I'd say that, yeah, it was a mixture of my family and then people who have paved the way before me in sport that I really look up to.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw the interview you had with Kat, so I got to learn a little bit about you. And when you see Hawaii athletes succeeding, it's just one of the greatest feelings ever. You know, whether that be in NFL, MLB, professional softball, basketball, volleyball. Like, the pride we have for Hawaii athletes, it's I don't think it's comparable to anything we have in the world. I mean, of course, you know, there's diehard fans, right? But it's just it's something different, you know. Like you could be, no matter where you are in the world, you could just be, you know, not even the greatest athlete, but you're playing in college. People hear you're from Hawaii and they're just so stoked for you. I love that about our culture.
Yes, there's nothing like Hawaii support for athletics. And I think it comes from a place of all of us know the struggle that it took for this person to get to where they are. So it's not a normal struggle. It's not the typical mainland struggle of oh, you just work hard, you train hard, and then you get to where you need to go. Everybody who has played sports, which is majority of the people in Hawaii, know that there's extra barriers. I mean, we're on an island in the middle of the ocean, so it's really hard for people to find us. And it takes a lot of sacrifice on ourselves, on our families, being in the right place at the right time. There's so much more that goes into it than just being an amazing athlete. And there's a lot of amazing athletes here in Hawaii that are missed. So for me, not only just going back to my background, like that's where I play for the 99%. So that's a big thing that I always say is for the 99%. And the 99% would be the people in situations that I was in. You know, maybe growing up didn't get that extra push in the right direction, didn't get that extra coach that said, you know what, let me take you under my wing, here's a free pair of cleats, or wasn't standing in the right place and made the right pitch at the right moment. And there's so many people here in Hawaii and so many people in the world that just didn't get that shot and could have been awesome. Because I mean, I've worked really hard, but I'd say that if I can make it to where I am today, there's no saying that anyone else shouldn't be able to have made it here, because I really come from humble beginnings.
Yeah, you worked really hard for what you have right now, and you know, because of the limited resources we have here on the islands, I guess you're known for you're known as the YouTube pitcher because you learned how to pitch watching YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so growing up, it's a really funny story. My dad and I started off playing baseball, and I was absolutely terrible. Like running the bases in the wrong direction, chasing the butterflies in the outfield, and I was on the best team in Waianae, like the best like t-ball team. Like all of these boys were like straight studs, grew up to be like the best on their teams in high school later. So funny. And I was just the worst. And I didn't like it. And then someone said, you know what, you should try softball. So I went over to softball, and one day someone was like, shoots, we don't have any pitchers. Does anyone want to try? And I was probably around like 6 at this time. So I rose my hand. I was like, me. And I went out there and I struck out every batter that came up. And from that moment on, it was kind of like a light bulb in my head of like, wow, I love this. This is something that's so fun to me. So after that, I would go to the park and watch older pitchers pitch. I would go ask my dad all the time, like, can you catch for me? Can we do this? Can we pitch? And it got to the point where I was starting to get better, but we didn't know what we were doing at all. So we would watch YouTube videos and kind of learn like, oh, this is maybe how I'm supposed to throw the ball if I want to throw a curve or a screw or whatever pitch. So yeah, my whole foundation was built on YouTube and pitching for like hours per day. So I'd say there were some days where my dad would just lock me outside and like literally lock the door and tell me to stay outside and keep hitting a dot on the wall for like a minimum of at least like an hour to 2 hours. And if I had to use the bathroom, I couldn't go in the house. If I had to drink water, everybody in Hawaii knows about the hose water.
That's we got natural immunity because we grew up drinking hose water.
Yep, the hose water is the reason I probably went pro. But yeah, so like I think that's like pretty much all of my foundation is YouTube and just, you know, grinding it out, just like typical local style.
Yeah, you don't want to just throw the softball at your window and be like, oops, I broke it, I guess I have to come inside.
I should have,
yeah,
you know. But
just break the window, open the lock for the inside.
Oh, shoot me the lock.
Yeah, I don't got any experience with that, but I just feel like that's what I would do.
Oh yeah, it sounded a little personal over there.
No, I've never done that. So softball and baseball are things that it's a pretty big sport in Hawaii, but for softball, there's not too many professional athletes playing softball, you know, because you hear a lot of MLB players, you know, Shane Victorino, Colton Wong, Kurt Suzuki, like all those people. Yeah. So a lot of people come to mind, but you're the first. You are the trailblazer, you know. Growing up, you didn't have like, a Kamalani Dung to look up to, right? Like you just had YouTube. Yeah. But now, as kids grow older, they can be like, I want to be like Kama, you know? Did you know that the state of Hawaii named 2022 the year of the limu? Yes, limu, that ono crunch in your poke. If limu is a must in your favorite local foods, you gotta check out Limu Fest at Sea Life Park on Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. With regular park admission, guests will get to participate in educational activities and presentations by local organizations highlighting their conservation efforts in cultivating endemic species of limu. There will also be special limu-themed food dishes available for purchase along with Koloa rum and Kona brewing products for those over 21. So if you haven't been down to Sea Life Park since you were a kid and you've been waiting for the right reason, now is the time to go. Come down early to Kaiona Beach Park at 9 a.m. to witness a honu release and blessing. There's something for everyone in your ohana to enjoy at Sea Life Park. When people shoot like a three, they're like Steph Curry, or they, they do something like throw a piece of rubbish in the trash can. They're like Kobe. Yeah, so maybe when little girls are pitching, they're like, Kama. Just add another K and another K to the end of that, and it would be such a good name.
Oh, yeah, when they pitch, just Kamaka.
Kamaka.
Yeah. You gotta go. But no, it's so funny. I've actually had parents like tell me like when their daughter does really good pitching, everybody changes their last name to like Dung. Like they would call her like whatever her name is. Say it's Bailey, and they'd be like Bailey Dung. So it's just so funny that I was able to like leave such an impact. And it's just so crazy because the other day I was at the park and I was doing a little bit of scouting for some of the girls, and there was this one girl who absolutely showed out. Like I sat down, and the first thing she did was hit a home run. So I was like, holy smokes, I'm interested. And then the second thing she did was like throw out a runner from center field going home. So I was like, if I didn't want you before, I really want you now. So I went up to her parents and I was talking to them, and I didn't think they understood what I was saying, where I was like, I have a lot of connections in the college world, and I would love to see your daughter get an opportunity that I got, go to a big program, and I'm going to help you. And I didn't think they got it. So then I just ended up leaving, and they were like, oh, thank you. And then we parted ways. And then later that night, I was doing a speaking engagement somewhere, and someone came up to me and was like, hey, you're Kamalani Dung, right? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, you spoke to one of my best friends today about her daughter. And they were so overjoyed that they're currently having a family barbecue right now. And I was like, wait, so you're telling me the parents that I talked to earlier today that I didn't even know, like I didn't even have a chance to think of it again for the rest of the day, I triggered an entire family tree barbecue because of like the fact that I can help their child and can be that inspiration in softball or in their life. And that was like such a huge moment for me where I took a step back and I was like, wow, I really just understood my reach of like how impactful sports can be in people's lives.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I grew up playing sports all my life, and the lessons I've learned, the connections I made, some of my best friends are from sports, the greatest life lessons I've learned are from sports. So it's so cool how you never know how things will impact your life, and you never know the things that you're doing now, how it will impact people in the future. Yeah. And I just love that about life. One thing I was wondering about is why the softball pitch underhand and baseball pitch overhand? Do you know that?
I don't actually know the reason.
Are we not thinking about these things?
I don't know. All I know is that softball pitchers can pitch longer than baseball can. So baseball, you have like a number of pitches that you can throw overhand because it's an unnatural position. Yeah. Whereas softball, since it's a natural rotation, you can pitch all day, every day if your arm can.
Okay, that's interesting because I always thought throwing overhand is a natural position just because naturally when you throw something you go like this, right? Yeah. And like, because if you say, oh, pass me that, I'll go like this, overhand. I'm not going to underhand it like that. Or like, at least with a softball, like, just like Donkey Kong my hand like this, wind it up and then throw it like that. So yeah, I was wondering that. But I think I did see that going underhand is not as stressful as going overhand, and that makes sense because major league baseball pitchers, they always have like Tommy John surgery and they mess up their shoulders, their elbow, all these things. But does that never happen in to softball pitchers?
I'd say it happens less often, but we definitely suffer some wear and tear. For me, I'm a really small pitcher. Yeah. Where most pitchers who are my height are probably a little bit more husky, where they have a little more muscle on them. or if they're as thin as I am, then they're a little bit taller. So that's where I have to use like every ounce of my heart and soul. Like my pinky toe is pushing off the mound to give me that extra push that I need to pitch the ball. But yeah, I've suffered neck injuries and back, so I don't know how much longer I'll actually be able to play in the game. But yeah, I think that throughout my career, there's been days where I've pitched like 5 games in a day.
That's crazy because there's no pitch count.
No.
Wow. And that one of the knocks on you coming up like to the professional level, even college, was that you're too small, right? You're too thin. You're not as, like you said, most pitchers are huskier, taller.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that criticism, and how did you come out on top?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super relevant in everything in life. Like people will always doubt you, whether it's my situation where I was too small to be a pitcher, or I didn't have the right mechanics, or whatever it may be. Or like in the workplace, it may be like, oh, you're not good enough. Why would you get promoted? Like, why would you go to that school? You're not smart enough. Like people are always going to tell you these things, but it's up to you, like if you want to listen or not. Because I know that for me, I've had an experience, or I've had multiple experiences where all I had to do was show up to something and my spot was already waiting for me, but I didn't show up. So there's examples of like me going to one of the USA team tryouts. So my mom was telling me like, hey, you should go to the tryout and we should do it. And it's in Florida. And I threw like a fit. This was when I was young, so in high school. And I was like kicking and screaming like, I'm not good enough. Why would they want me? I'm going to waste my time. I'm going to look super silly. Like, why would I do that? And then I finally got my way and we didn't end up going to the tryout. My mom was like, fine, like whatever. And then it turned out that a little while later, I got notified that I actually already had a spot on the team and the coaches were just waiting for me to show up that day. And I just never came.
Wow.
So it was one of those moments where it was kind of like, sheesh, imagine that throughout life, you know? Imagine how many things or moments that we all have where you're going to be kicking, you're going to be screaming, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Why? I'm going to look silly. But it was already yours, you know? You just had to go. You just had to push through that uncomfortable feeling and just go for it. And ever since that moment, I've made it my like commitment to live in a way that every time I feel that uncomfortable feeling of like, oh, I'm going to look silly, I'm not ready, why would I be the one picked? You know, like all of these doubtful feelings. And if people are speaking doubt on me, I've made it a point to like lean into that and know that that's where the growth is. And if you can push through that, I mean, you'll never know. What if your biggest opportunity was waiting for you and you already had it and people were just waiting for you to show up that day?
I love that. I love that so much. You know, a lot of life is just showing up.
Literally.
Yeah, and just seizing those opportunities. Because
Yes.
you never know what will happen, you know. Even if you don't think you're prepared or you're ready, just go in there with an open mind, a willingness to learn or fail, you know, because failure isn't the worst thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from failing, and that's one reason I love sports, you know. I mean,
Yes.
of course, nobody wants to lose, right?
Yeah, no.
But, you know, in those moments, you know, when things settle, the dust settles, and you're just like, okay, you know, what can I do better? Like, how do I improve my life so I never feel like this ever again?
Yeah.
And this isn't just in sports, in relationships, in business, whatever it is. You know, how do I make the appropriate changes so I never have to feel this low ever again?
Yes,
You know?
yes, that's totally where I am right now. It's like in sports, in life, and that's why when people read off the list of things that I'm doing a lot of things. It's because of that feeling of like that uncomfortable feeling of that really just keeps people trapped in the same spot. And for me, I've made it a point to just keep leaning into that uncomfortable feeling. So my growth has been absolutely exponential recently, like in everything. Like, why would I go do a Hawaii Swim Week fashion show? I've never been a swimsuit model, but you know what? Someone asked me, so lean into it, do it, you know? Why would I be able to speak on all of these young children's lives? Like, I come from humble backgrounds, and it's like, you know what? Lean into that, just do it. So these are all the things. Starting my own business, it's like, why would anyone, you know, trust me with their business? And it's like, am I even good enough to take this role on? Or like, do I even have enough time? Lean into it, do it. You know, life is too short to be over here messing around or like, you know, just kind of staying complacent. I think if you find yourself a good tribe of people who support you and you're doing things with a good heart, then, I mean, like you said, you're either going to learn from an opportunity or it's going to be your next big growth moment. So that's where I've been.
I absolutely love that mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, because I relate to a lot of what you said, especially, you know, living, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, you know, living outside of your comfort zone, I think is super important, especially in your mid 20s. I think early 20s, it's so good to, you know, have that period of growth. Like, you know, college is really important, but those years after college, I think are some of the most crucial moments, because either you're going to go to grad school, you're going to get a job, you know, start your career. Yeah. And those moments where, you know, all of us were struggling through that time, you know, if you're an athlete, maybe, you know, you're trying to think like, okay, do I take it to the next level? Do I, you know, just get a 9-to-5 job? So there's so many things going on, but not being afraid and just being like, well, let's just try this. You know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's a lot of more life to live. Yeah. But I love when people aren't afraid to just go for it.
No, that's my life model, is to just go for it. And I always love to support the people I'm around to like really just pursue your dreams and find your why. And finding your why isn't easy, but I think it's going to take a lot of leaning into those uncomfortable opportunities to figure out what your why is. So if you're not doing that, then you're probably going to have a harder time to figure out what your why is. Yeah. And I can say that it's probably going to change throughout the seasons of our life. Like maybe mine is family, someone else's is to prove someone wrong, someone else's to break a generational curse. But I think that finding your why will help you find your ultimate dream. And getting uncomfortable is the first step to finding what that is. Preach
it.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize all of this? Like I think for me, it was like, you know, early, like mid 20s, basically from like 20 to, basically when I was in the Peace Corps, from 23 to 26. That was like the most transformational years of my life. But for you, was it when you started to go abroad, when you went off to college, when you left to Hawaii?
This is why you get paid the big bucks. Always asking the good questions.
Oh, well, I wish we could get paid the big bucks. If anybody wants to sponsor us, let me know.
We'll talk after this.
Yeah.
But that's a really good question, because for me, I think the reason that it happened so quickly is because my sophomore year of college, my mom suffered a stroke. And I was away at Fresno State, which was the first college I went to before going to UC Berkeley. And I got a call in the middle of the night from my brother. And my brother doesn't normally call me in the middle of the night. So I almost ignored it because I was like, shoot, I got 6 a.m.s tomorrow. Like, bro, leave me alone. Talk to you tomorrow. But then something inside of me was like, he doesn't call at night. So I was like, I'll just answer. And I answered it. And he was just like, Mom had a stroke. There's a high chance she's not going to live. So it was like so heavy, you know, like drop to your knees, like in pure, like all kind of moment. And it was amazing because the next day at practice, I mean, I'm the type of person, like I'm a grinder. I've always been. So I was just going to grind it out and stay at school because, you know, I didn't have the funds to fly myself back home, or I didn't even know if I could do that with my coaches and all of that. So I went to practice and my coach pulled me aside and she was like, hey, why are your teammates telling me that this happened? Why didn't you come and tell me? And she was like, I already bought you your ticket. Go home, pack, you're leaving in an hour. So Coach Trisha Ford, if you're somehow listening to this on the Hawaiiverse, love you, girl.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so she sent me home. I flew home and my mom was in super bad shape. And it was such a big realization moment for me because she was young. She's like 41 when it happened. So that's where I was like, my mom, you know, like such a good woman, like throughout her whole life, really just not affecting anyone in a negative way, being the best mom, really sacrificing everything for her kids. And then at 41, just to have a stroke that could end your whole life.
It's heavy.
Yes, it was a moment where I came to the realization that life isn't long enough to just sit around and settle. And I felt confident enough I've been at places of like rock bottom and adversity and all of these places. And then I've also seen the other end of the spectrum of like people living these lavish lifestyles. And, you know, that's where I was like, you know what? Like, I know what I want in this life to be happy, and it doesn't seem like we have that much time, and it doesn't seem like tomorrow is even promised. So what I'm going to do is, obviously, I'm going to set up my 401k, because I'm not going to let that go down the drain. Like, I'm not just going to live for today and like party up and whatever. It's like setting up for the future, but making sure that I do not settle for anything right now. Whether it's my relationships with friends, my romantic relationships, my job that I'm doing, the kind of legacy that I'm leaving in the world. Like, I came to the conclusion the moment that I saw my mom on her deathbed at 41 as a good woman, that, wow, sheesh, nothing is promised for any of us. That's crazy. And I'm going to 100% make sure that I live a full life every day that I'm proud of.
Awesome. How's your mom doing today?
Today, she's doing so much better. She's still struggling a little with her mobility, but so much better. And I mean, she's awesome, and pretty much just like my momager still somehow. So yeah, she's my Kris Jenner. So she's still just the brains behind the whole operation and doing awesome. But yeah, like, she was my inspiration to really just like to just go for it, and then to also help others, and then also inspire others around me. Like, bro, just go for your dreams. Tomorrow isn't promised. And like, also in terms of like crazy life, like, people can say that I've achieved all these things, but it's like, I really come from humble beginnings, so you can too. Like, I love to just spew that confidence. Like, you got this. You can. Any of us could do this. You just have to really commit and decide in your heart what your dream is, what your why is, and then pursue that.
Yeah, but I think representation is huge. So, you know, seeing a girl from Waianae reach professional status, start from humble beginnings, and get to where you're at now. I'm pretty sure you're a homeowner, right?
I have a house pending.
Well, I know you when you moved back recently, right, in the last year or two, and then you have a house. So I don't know if that was yours or you just.
That was part of me living life to the fullest. Yeah, moved to North Shore, been doing a lot of crazy things in business, and trying to just, explore all of these different options. I am getting into real estate investing, so if anyone listening wants to set up a meeting,
I might be hitting you up in the next year.
Sounds
once
good.
We start bringing in some money for the podcast.
Perfect. Sounds good. Let me know.
I love you, Grandma, but I gotta spread my wings.
It's time.
It's time. One thing I'm curious about is the North Shore lifestyle culture, because I've been spending more time over there, and I have one of my best friends also is from Wailua, and I see North Shore as like, okay, it can be a tourist destination, a lot of surfers there, but there's like the haole culture, and then there's the local culture.
Yes.
So there's a lot of transplants, and then there's some places which were really local. And then I start to think about all the stereotypes people have about all the different regions in Hawaii, or like at least Oahu. Let's talk about Oahu since we're on Oahu. Like Hawaii Kai, you're rich. Kailua, you're haole.
Yeah.
West Side, you're banga. Don't mess with anybody from the West Side. Don't even make a joke. Stuff like that. And then North Shore surfer, or you're just like haole that moved there to find themselves, and you do like crystals and all these stuff. So there's all those stereotypes. How are you enjoying the life over there, and like how do you feel about seeing all of that?
It's insane. The North Shore life is something that I wanted to experience, just because I wanted to get away from everything that I've known. I'm always one that I like to get different perspectives on everything in order to know like what's going on. So I moved to North Shore and moved to a gorgeous place. It's really it felt like a movie lifestyle out there. Like, it was I would wake up in the morning and I was living in this like mansion overlooking all of North Shore.
Yes, I've seen your stories. I'm just disappointed I've never got to see the place.
You know what? We're gonna have
all
to
those
run that back.
barbecues and what's going on?
Yeah, it's insane. Like, just this beautiful tree house looking over all of North Shore, and basically living in a hype house. Honestly, there was like a few of us living in there, just kind of enjoying life and finding business opportunities, collaborations, and what a movie. Like, I would wake up in the morning, grab my coffee, go on a walk next to the beach with, you know, just on the bike path. Everything's perfect and beautiful, and everyone's in a great mood. You see the same babies every day. You kiss them on the forehead. You see the same dogs. You give them a little pet. And everyone's just, like, living their best life. And then you go on and, you know, maybe grab a acai bowl or a poke bowl, pupukea grill. And then, you know, you sit on the beach at the end of the day after doing work or whatever it may be, and you just watch the sunset. Like, I had this count going of, like, the sunsets that I would watch. I would make it, like, a goal of mine to watch one every single night, because it was just, like, what a crazy life. And honestly, it made me a little jealous, because majority of Hawaii doesn't live like that. So even though I was living it, I was kind of jealous for, like, everyone on Hawaii of, like, gosh, we live in this beautiful paradise, and why don't we get to live like this every day? Like, this is what the movies say the life is like, and it's happening in North Shore. I'm telling you now. But
it's just so far.
It's, yeah, nobody's trying.
Traffic.
Yeah, it's so far. You're going to be stuck in traffic for at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good life out there. And it's very interesting just because, like you said, there's always new people rotating through. And then there's, like, the core families that kind of, like, run everything over there. So... But it's, like, such a tight-knit community. It's so interesting. And it's nice because it's kind of like country. I'd say it's like Kailua, or like Kailua plus Waianae mixed together. Like the country vibes, but then, like, everyone
from,
is...
like, Wailua to Haleiwa to, like...
Yes, like...
Pupukea.
Yeah, like, it's country vibes, like, and it has that kind of community feel like Waianae, but, like, everyone has to be absolutely kind of rich to live there.
With a hint of Ho'ikai.
yeah. Hint of Ho'ikai in there. But, yeah, incredible experience for sure.
But so to me, I feel like, because I'm not super familiar from North Shore, and I'm from Hilo, you know, so when I moved here over 10 years ago, but, you know, I always kind of stick to, like, the town side. Wailua seems like a little bit more local to me. Like, that's like the local families. Haleiwa's a little bit more touristy. And then you go outside and there's, like, a mix of people past, like, Waimea.
Yes. Yeah.
So is that
so
how
accurate?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice.
You know things.
I'm a local. I know.
You know things.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I was just curious about the North Shore life.
I
love
question.
it. It's beautiful. So far, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that for my whole life. Like,
yeah. I had to actually move away from North Shore just due to the fact that I would add on an extra, like, hour if I wanted to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, if I needed to go to town, which I need to go to town so often.
Same for me. That's why I couldn't.
Yeah, it's like,
I couldn't do that.
Guess I'll block off half my day for traveling.
Yeah. So where do you live now? Drop the address.
Drop the address. Hey. I'm out west side.
Pare at Kama's house.
Yeah, you guys are all invited, everyone listening.
How is your family still in Waianae?
So half of my family, my dad's side is out in Waianae with our farm, and then my mom's side is mostly west side family through and through.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about the stereotypes about the west side? And, like, growing up, did you know those stereotypes, or does that ever bother you? Does it ever get, offensive? You know, there's joking sides, like, west side banga. Yeah. But then there's, like, the real stuff, that people always talk about, or people are, like, afraid to go to the west side.
Yeah. I think it's really hard, and it sucks because most people aren't bad people, like, the people who genuinely mean it when they say that, they're like, I'm actually afraid, and, like, make kind of, like, almost, like, really mean stereotypical remarks, don't understand it at all. Because, I mean, Hawaiian people are some of the best people, most down-to-earth people I know in the world. Like, they're real ones. And it's just hard because, we're just separated by that one-lane road, by the power plant that kind of just separates you from the rest of the world. And a lot of it is, like, just what you're brought up around. So whether that's, like, domestic abuse around you all the time, or, like you said, when you're raised in, like, a impoverished home or lifestyle, you don't really know anything better. So I think that's why my mom's main goal was for me to, like, go out to go to school, go off the island to get life experiences, to kind of understand how the world works and what's going on. And first of all, I think Waianae people are amazing. And I think that it goes back to me, where I had, like, multiple opportunities where I was just in the right place at the right time, and I was given that extra push in the right direction. So that's my goal, is to be that person for the next Kamalani Dung who may be running around at the park right now, that maybe if she doesn't get the push in the right direction, maybe she doesn't have a dad to throw at her, she doesn't have money to buy shoes, doesn't have money to go travel, and might go down a wrong path. My goal is to find those young kids, the next generation, and even people who just need that support, who are older too, and just give them the helping hand that I needed when I was their age.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. So we're gonna get into Instagram questions, but before that, since I mentioned, the halftime snacks, I'm sure you've had, lihimui apples, oranges, watermelons at halftime. I love that. That was one of my favorite childhood memories.
Yes.
And that's definitely a Hawaii thing.
100%. That's like a core memory.
Yeah, lihimui snacks at halftime of any sports game, soccer games, all the time. And then the after game snacks as well. I love that.
More like the potluck. You just party every night.
All of that. Before we get into Instagram questions, I have some jelly here. Well, pele jelly. That's the name of this business. Morgan sent us some, and we're gonna try some live on the podcast. We're our first live eating on the podcast, and first picture, first person to bring a flat iron to the podcast. So let's continue with the first.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got some. I guess if you're listening to this, and you don't want to listen to some ASMR, you can just fast forward maybe like 5 minutes. I don't know how long this is gonna take, or you can head to YouTube or Spotify and check out the video portion of this podcast. But so I'm
excited.
Some things here. I got Ritz crackers, because I feel like that's a classic. And then I got some saltines here, so maybe we can try both or one. And then we're at the studio, and I forgot knives, so I have 2 compostable ones, 1 chopstick, and I have my utensil kit here and my new Yeti that I brought today so I could show off.
Boo,
my friend Chad, he just got married to his beautiful wife Alyssa, and they got the groomsmen some gifts, and everybody got whiskey glasses with their names or initials on top, but I only drink water, so he got me this, and I love it. It says Diaz on the back, and it's football season. Saints, it's my team. Go Saints.
Go Cowboys.
Yeah. So whoa. Yeah. We're not in the same division, so it's fine. Okay. So yeah, let's try some. I guess I'll stand up for this. And I'll pass you some. So what? Maybe you wanna? I'm gonna read them to you, and you can tell me what you want. We got tomato sweet basil.
Pele jelly.
Hot papaya.
What else we got over here?
Hot pineapple. Hot guava. Guava pineapple. Hot guava and pineapple. So we have all these flavors. What do you want to try? I definitely think I want to try the hot guava. I'm actually not a spicy guy. I don't know. Are you a spicy person?
Not really, but
yeah. I think jelly shouldn't be like spicy, and so I guess pele jelly is like a funny play on words. Pele, our goddess of lava, fire, and then jelly, but it's like a Hawaiian.
Let
pigeon.
me try that one.
Okay, let's try this. Let me move this. Let's clear some space here. I've never done this on the podcast before. I'm so excited.
Nice.
I get to eat on the podcast. This is the coolest thing. Maybe you want to open one?
Okay, I'm gonna open the hot papaya.
Okay, and I got the hot guava, and you got the what? The hot papaya?
Yep.
Okay, here, we can start with these compostable knives.
Perfect.
You want a Ritz or a saltine?
I'll take a Ritz.
Ritz, okay, here you go. I want to start off with a Ritz too. Okay, all right, pele jelly.
We're gonna give this a try.
All right, okay.
Packaging's cute.
Yeah, it's really nice. You got pele with a little leipo'o holding the jelly in her hands. Okay. In Madagascar, they say chin chin.
Chin chin.
That's good. It's not even that spicy too. It has like a little kick. Oh, that's so good. I want to eat more.
Whoa.
Here.
Wow, that's a perfect amount of spice.
That's good, right?
It's not even truly spicy. It just adds like
little oomph.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to take another one, but
yes. We have no rules here on the podcast.
Let's go.
We make the rules.
Okay, I'm taking.
Okay, give me a cracker, and I'll put this on top of yours so you can try the hot guava.
Oh shoot, here.
Okay.
Let's do a trade off.
Is that enough? Is that enough, or you need more?
Not
Okay, let me try this. This is the
wait.
pineapple.
Cheers again.
Yeah,
Don't judge because I couldn't fit it.
Wow, that's good.
Wow. Yeah.
Wait, cream cheese? I love eating crackers, cream cheese, and the jelly.
Yes.
This would be mean.
Oh, these are good.
Okay, I have an idea because I think I need to stop because I just want to keep eating more.
Same.
Before we open up the chopsticks and my reusable knife here, let's just get through this podcast and eat all of this after.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yes.
Oh, this is really good.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Yep. I gotta say, pele jelly.
Pele jelly, check
I
them out.
approve. That's
Yeah.
good. Where can I even find them?
Online, we'll put their links in on Instagram and whatnot. But I'm impressed. I'm honestly really impressed. I was a little
yum.
Yes, I was a little intimidated by the spiciness or hot fire because I'm not a spicy person, but it's not that spicy. But it has a little kick for the people that like. So am I doing it right? Do I have the?
Yeah.
Is this the how you TikTokers do it or influencers do it? They
Oh yeah. Here,
hold it
this is
up like I'm a
Bretman,
Power Ranger. Oh yeah, Bretman. Okay, you got it.
makeup influencer.
Oh, right there. Okay, got it. All right, cool.
Beautiful. Those are bomb.
Let me set this back up again. I don't know how Jordan had it. Okay.
That looks good.
All right, well, yeah, that was a short little intermission for the podcast, a little halftime snack.
I needed that.
I know.
Now I'm ready to go.
Oh, I feel like I want to do that every podcast episode now.
Can I come for halftime every time?
Halftime snacks on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Let's go. Next time I'll bring some lihimui apples and oranges.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing.
All right, well, mahalo pele jelly for sending us some. That was
Mahalo
amazing.
pele jelly.
All right. I'm a little routed. I'm not going to lie. I want to eat more.
Okay, we can eat more after.
Yeah,
Let's finish this
okay.
up for everyone.
Yeah. For everyone's sake.
Yep.
All right. Jaywalk with two JWAKK says, "How's the arm feeling?" I feel like you know him.
Yeah,
Jordan.
the arm is feeling good actually. So right now I'm in the off season. The way that softball works, the way that I've set it up to work is I'll play for some of the big tournaments throughout the year, whether that's with Athletes Unlimited, Pro League in the US, or with the Puerto Rican National team. And then for the rest of the year, I'm kind of in the off season. So right now I'm off season, but I have a really, really big, important tournament coming up in November in Guatemala with the Puerto Rican National team. And that pretty much qualifies us for Central Americans, Pan American, like all the big Olympic games of next year. And those are all over the world. So in November, I'll be really locked in. And the arm feels good. The arm is ready to go.
Awesome. If you've never seen Kama pitch before, just go YouTube and you throw a hard fastball. I've never played baseball before. That's one of the sports I've never played. I actually played softball once. That's how I think I got this scar right here in Madagascar. Is my first tournament. They just a bunch of like Americans and
That's so
Malagasy people, and it was my first time playing, and I got the game-winning hit, and I had like some crazy catches because I played like sports before, so they just put me in the outfield. First ball, somebody just hits it all the way out. I just run back, just like jump up, grab it. Everyone's like, "What?" And then this other one, somebody hit it again, and it was going like a foul ball, but I sprinted as fast as I could and full like laid out, and I slid and I caught it. But I slid and I have like a big scar on my hip right over here.
Oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna draft you for my
Yeah,
my
for
team
your fantasy sports.
Yeah. All right.
I feel like the level of competition was a little different though.
Good to know. All right, you're drafted. You're on my team.
Yes. All right. And shout out to Jordan. I actually met him surfing. That's how I know him.
Oh, nice.
So random. Yeah. I didn't know he was a professional baseball player. Yeah. Cool. All right. So next question comes from Mike Kalani. Wants to know, what do you think athletes need to get to the next level?
Good question. I think athletes need the will to just persevere against whatever doubt anyone tells you. So, especially coming from Hawaii, I know it can be hard because a lot of people will pour their own doubt on you because maybe they didn't make it, or there's the doubt of like coming from a small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean to try and compete with all these people in the mainland with all these resources. But I think the main thing is to find your why and to just push and keep going. So to make it less about completing something for the sport and more so about like your why. So you can use sport as kind of like a vehicle. So not everybody has to go pro. Like I'm not here sitting here inspiring like, oh, you have to go pro or anything less than that is not good enough. Like, no. What I'm saying is to find your why, what you want out of life, and then use sport to get there. So maybe you want to go and be a nurse. So you'll use sport to go pay for a degree to go to a school with a good nursing program. Or maybe you can't afford college. So you use sport as a vehicle to get to college. Or maybe you can't afford much, so you go to a JUCO. And I mean, my 2 roommates that graduated with me at UC Berkeley both came from JUCOs. So there's all these different routes on how an athlete can get to the next level, but it's just like finding your why and just pressing into it and not letting anyone try to sway you in any way.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I listened to a podcast, or I don't know what it was. I saw something where they were saying you don't always, people should, or maybe it was Chad Owens when he was on the podcast. It was my own podcast. I think Chad Owens was saying that people, should realize like they don't have to go pro, you know, just to, that shouldn't always be the goal. But like, getting your college paid for as an athlete. Maybe you're not the best college athlete, but you can go to a D2, D3 school on a good scholarship and just get your college paid off.
Yeah, exactly.
So just having that mindset of just like, what is your why? Like, are you trying to go pro? I'm sure, that's every kid's dream, right? But kind of see, now I'm stopping myself because I'm just like, I don't want to be like, oh, but you have to be realistic because, if you work hard, you could definitely make it. But
I think it's more so about like just the hands that you're dealt and then going forward with that. So you can have your big dream. But for me, I mean, straight out of high school, I didn't go straight to Pac-12 school, UC Berkeley. I went to Fresno State first because the coach was amazing and they paid for my entire tuition and I couldn't afford college. And it was a good sports school. So it's really just whatever hands you're dealt, going with that. And every time I went with the hands that I was dealt, I never expected more. But each time, you kind of just do the best you can with what you have. And then you'll always have a new opportunity open in front of you.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. All right, speaking of why, Kylie Kalama wants to know, why do you do what you do today? Who are you trying to impact? And that, that probably goes to the 99, but I'm sure you have a lot of other reasons too.
Yeah, I think that for me, it's one, the next generation of sports and trying to find, like I said, the next Kamalani Dung who may need a push in the right direction. But I also think that it's also the people in our generation, our age, like the 20s, maybe even others, where I kind of hope that I can just inspire them to just live their most like just send it life, like life is short. If you can just give people aloha and you can also help without expecting anything in return, then I think that that's probably like one of the best ways to live life, just send it, go big, and just give aloha to everyone around you. And you can't lose like that. Like nobody's gonna be like, wow, I hate Kama, she gives so much aloha. Like she just gives and doesn't expect anything. Like just living that aloha lifestyle, I think, is like what I would love to just leave as my lasting impression when I leave.
Awesome. I really love that. I think giving without expectation of receiving is like such a good value to have. It's something like I'm always striving to do as well. So yeah, I'm happy you shared that.
Yeah.
All right. Tanoman _ wants to know, what is your diet as a professional athlete? Do you have a strict diet?
When I am playing, my diet is pretty strict. So I'll do mostly whole foods. When I was in college at like the top of my game, I would cut out any like creamy pastas. So anything with like a lot of cream before game days was a no-go. And I would keep it to like strictly trying to eat healthy whole foods, no processed foods, no sodas, especially during game time. But yeah, now that I'm a professional and now I have the off season, now I'm kind of really flexible with it.
You got to enjoy the off season.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to have, a mixture of like whole foods and pellegele, but also maybe I want to go to Cane's or something.
Yeah. What is your guilty pleasure?
I don't know if it's bad for you, but spicy ahi is like the best to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the rice could be bad for you. I feel like fish in general is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if
Maybe
it's
all the
like
sauces.
the amount of it that I eat that could be bad.
The excessive amount that I eat.
Yeah,
the 3,000 calories of poke that I
yeah,
eat.
I think that could be kind of where it teeters the line of like good for you, now it's terrible for you. Like, why did you eat the whole pound by yourself?
Yeah, well, everything in moderation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Last one comes from Ha'aheo. Do you think female sports will ever be as big as male sports?
I think that, yes. I mean, softball is one of the largest growing sports right now. And I mean, I think it was the third largest in college behind two male sports. So I think it was football.
Gotta be football.
I think it was football, basketball, and then softball was right there as like most
amazing.
viewership. So, I mean, the sport of softball is like just an awesome sport to watch. It's really quick paced. It's very impactful. Like you always see people getting like taken out at the bases. The ball is coming so fast, so people are always getting whacked, and like the home runs are just exciting, and there's just that thrill. So anybody who watches softball turns into a softball fan. So I think 100% female sports are on the rise, but I'm not one to sit here and just go like, oh, we expect equal pay right now. Like at one point, the MLB had to build up, you know, and at one point the NFL had to build up. So I think right now it's a crucial time for women's sports to be building up to that stage of like, hopefully whatever foundation that I'm laying down today can help the future generations of softball players who get to sign their $10 million contracts, you know? So I think that it's honestly just an honor to be a part of the trailblazers here in Hawaii, but the trailblazers in the sport that can hopefully leave women's sports in a better place than we found it.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that you brought up the equal pay or unequal pay now, but that is a good point where I think people forget that it's a business. You know, all these professional sports, it's a business. You know, if the TV shows, you know, TV networks pay certain leagues to show their sport on TV. So depending, you know, how many people watch it, that's how they get paid. It's like, and then even the fact that you said, you know, it's still growing. You know, it's still like NFL, NBA. They've been around for so long. NFL since like maybe the 20s. I don't know. I should know this since I'm a big NFL fan. And it's like NBA, and the pay is always different too. Like maybe right now you're getting a lot like what you think, but then in 10 years somebody's gonna get what you're getting as like the lowest bench player, and you're gonna be like, wow, I wish I got paid that much. But you know, in a way that's cool for them because you went through it so that they could succeed. Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like it's a bittersweet. I mean, honored to be laying the foundation, but would love to use this clip in the future. Maybe like
back pay. Send some back pay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna probably pull this up maybe like 10 to 15 years from now and send this over to one of the first round draft picks.
She's getting 10 million?
Yeah, like whoever's first round draft pick, I'm for sure sending this clip. I totally helped to lay the foundation for you, so would love if you could just
royalties.
Yeah, send me over a couple million and
it's a couple.
Yeah,
she's not asking for that much.
Not for a lot. So.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 maybe.
Yeah,
we need to afford some pele jele here.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, mahalo for answering those questions, and mahalo for everyone for leaving these questions. Make sure you leave some on the next episode, and maybe a question we'll make it on the podcast.
Thanks,
all right,
guys.
so going right off of sports, I want you to tell us about Athletes Unlimited, because it's this really cool concept where it's a professional softball league, fast pitch, and how it's done is almost like you said, it's fantasy sports, and I love fantasy sports, and I think that makes it a little bit more easy for people to grasp in their head. So can you explain to the people listening what like Athletes Unlimited is and how it works?
Yeah, so the league that I play for in the US is Athletes Unlimited, and it's really, if you guys understand what fantasy sports is, it's kind of like instead of the original team model of like you're set on this team and you play other teams and everyone knows what team you're on, it's 50
like a franchise.
Yeah,
like that franchises, and then it's like set like that for life.
Yeah, so instead of me saying like, oh, I'm on this certain franchise team, it's just 56 athletes who are a part of this pool of players in Athletes Unlimited, and you're drafted to a new team every week, and the people who get to draft the team are captains. Captains can gain points throughout games and MVP votes. So it's really just like fantasy, where every week you're on a new team playing with new players of the 56. And everything you do is pretty much equating to money, which makes it pretty crazy. So
you get bonuses. Like if you get a home run, you get like 5,000 extra, or you steal a base.
Yeah, so you get all these different points, and it gets a little crazy. I mean, it can get catty because the way that it works is kind of like if you win the inning, you'll get points, and that point amount equates directly to like money that everyone knows.
Wow, that's so interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so winning the inning means like there's the top half of the inning where one team bats, and then the other team bats for the bottom half of the inning, and whoever scores the most points wins that inning. So there's some times where nobody's scoring points throughout the game, and you get towards the end of the game, and whatever team scores the first point, you'll get all the back points from like all the innings.
What?
So
it gets intense then, huh?
It gets intense because I mean, one person's hit could be like an extra like $500 bonus just in that one hit, and one person's error can also be you just lost your team $500. So it gets so crazy where like sometimes if you're on a team that just doesn't click, because I mean, you're playing with the best of the best. So
56. I didn't know it was only 56 people. 56 people in the world are only playing. That's such an exclusive. Like, I think NBA is probably the hardest sport to become a professional athlete because the pool is so small. I think it's like 11 people per team or something like that.
Small.
And 30-something teams. So, but like 56, that's like even smaller.
Yeah, it's a really competitive league with like a lot of people going for the tryouts, but. Yeah, it's brutal because you get there, and I mean you're friends with everyone because you're all living in the same quarters. Like they set you up in a hotel, and everyone trains together. And
gotta be dramas though.
Yeah, I mean
right.
Everybody's like friends, but like of course once it's game time, it's like game on. Like if you make that error that loses your team $1,000, everyone's not gonna be the happiest, even if you're besties.
Yeah. Oh wow. Do you think that's good or bad that they put a monetary value on it?
I've been back and forth. I wish I was a hitter because all you do all day is just slug and just try to get more money. Whereas a pitcher, you're like defending your money.
Pressure,
like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the quarterback.
Yeah.
Football, right?
Totally. But I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. Like, it's good because it keeps you engaged. Like, I don't take a pitch off. Everything is very intentional, and like the game never gets boring. But it's very hard on the players mentally. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you're having a bad game, sometimes, like, team wins equate more points than your individual. So if you're having bad luck getting on bad teams, then, I mean, you're just down bad. Money. Like, you're down at the bottom of the scoreboard, not getting that much points, not getting that much action for money. And it's just because you've been dealt, like, terrible hands of the teams that you've been on. So it's just, like, It's really a lot, and it's good because everyone there is probably like some of the best in the world by far. So it's so hard, so competitive, so awesome, the environment. But, there's also the fact of just like, it is what it is. Sometimes you get lucky on a good team. Sometimes you have a bad day and you're on the team that lost all weekend and you made $0. It's crazy. That's
like being drafted to the worst team or the best team,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's bad being the best player because you get drafted to the worst team, right? Because the worst team gets the first pick.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just gonna keep relating it to football because that's what I watch.
Yeah.
So like some people they're like, I hope my favorite player doesn't go to the Jets.
Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna.
All the Jets fans are punching air in their car right now.
I'm sorry about hating on the Jets, but you guys have been so bad recently, and the Lions, and I'm just gonna say Giants because my friend Diogo loves the Giants.
Oh no.
Giants aren't that bad though. Yeah, but of course Saints, one of the best teams ever created. We're not that good anymore, but
no, I have no comment for that.
Next question. Yeah. That's such a cool concept, like how they do the Athletes Unlimited. I'm not too sure about the bonuses. I'm all for like player-based performance, like individual. Yeah. Like if you if you have like 10 home runs in a season, then you get something. Yeah. But I don't like that you can lose.
Yeah, as a
money.
pitcher, if I give up, like pitchers can go into negative points. Like, so in the beginning of the season, the first game, there's people who will probably leave with negative points because if you allow runs, you get -10.
So you gotta pay that. You gotta pay money.
Gotta pay a couple of grand just for that game. No,
that's so.
that's
so
not how it
crazy.
works. But it's just like you'll lose points and you'll go to the very bottom of the board, kind of thing.
Yeah, I like it better where it's just like your own individual performance rewards you money.
Yeah.
You know, whether like say you give up a home run, then you know it's like it's only affecting you, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you're trying to have like 7 strikeouts in a game or something, and you get like a bonus for that.
Yeah.
But
I've always thought about ways to make it better, but that makes sense. Like just make it more on the positive side instead of like everyone being mad at the person who gave up the home run or made the error that lost us the money that inning.
I'm pretty sure that's how like NFL player bonuses work. I mean, there's like team stuff, like if you make it to the Super Bowl, you get, but that's still an individual. Everyone has individual contracts, right? So that's written into your contract. Like if your team makes Super Bowl, you get an extra $1 million or something, but it doesn't affect someone else, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know. Yes, maybe I'm the league commissioner for my fantasy football team. So this is stuff I think about all the time.
Serious stuff.
Yeah, we have weekly bonuses. You know, we have like my really cool people in our league. Fantasy sports. What's up?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, my boyfriend has just joined a fantasy league. So
I gotta play with him. I didn't know he was into it.
No, he's not. He's just joining into one. But yeah.
Tell him to hit me up if he needs advice.
Will do.
I listen to a fantasy football podcast every single day.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's
why I love
intense.
podcasts. That's why I love podcasts. But I'm not even joking. Every single day, at least for the football season, every single day, 1 or 2.
Jeez.
Yeah. I love it. All right, so on to
hardcore.
Yeah. Actually, I brought you here today to announce that this is actually going to be turned into a fantasy football podcast. Welcome to the Hawaiiverse Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Kamaka Diaz, and let's talk about Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man, I'm just going to sit here and eat pele jelly.
All right, well, I'm not going to torture anyone else for any longer. I want to talk about culture and, how it plays a role in your life. And because you are Native-Hawaiian, you're also Puerto Rican and some other stuff, but you played for the Puerto Rican National team. You went to Kamehameha, which is a very like Hawaiian cultural based school. Like how did you navigate like your identity and like what did you feel connected to one culture more than the other? Or what was your like mindset like deciding to play for Puerto Rico instead of U.S.? Is it because like I'm not American, I'm white, or is it just because like you wanted to represent that side?
It was like a mix of everything. It was kind of like I said, where it's going with the hands that you're dealt. And for me, my family is very big on my mom's side into my Puerto Rican heritage. So my papa played for like the Puerto Ricans baseball team. My family loves making Puerto Rican food and all of that. But yeah, that's a great question, because finding my identity and finding all of our identities and culture, especially here in Hawaii, is like...
Oh, I got some... Whoa. Surprise printer. Sometimes that happens. You got... Oh, I don't know what that sound is. That's a new one. You get a lot of firsts here on the podcast.
Sheesh. Wow.
I guess you're good luck for...
Right? But, okay, yeah. Like I was saying, just... finding all of our cultures and what we identify as. It was interesting because when I went to Puerto Rico, I lived out in Puerto Rico for a little bit too. And the culture there is very, very similar to Hawaii, where they have that vibe of like really laid back, not taking anything like too seriously, and kind of just inviting people into their homes of just like, oh yeah, come over here, or like, oh, we're here to have a good time. Make sure that you enjoy everything. Make sure everyone's included. Kind of that whole like family vibe. And there was a point where I was like really, really intrigued because I was identifying with my Puerto Rican culture, which I never did before. And that was something that I had to like reevaluate, because my Hawaiian culture is something that being born and raised in Hawaii and going to Kamehameha schools, I was always around it. I would say 100,000% that I'm Hawaiian, but I didn't actually like understand what it meant to kind of have the culture ingrained in everything in my lifestyle. So that's been something that I've been more conscious about, where sometimes now like I'm going out of my way to make sure that I understand like what it means to be Hawaiian. And I mean, there's a ton of different ways to like have our interpretation of that, where it's like having the aloha spirit and whatever, but like really digging deep and kind of understanding, you know, like the culture, the actual history and background. And of course, I've learned it all through school, but kind of implementing it on the national stage that I have. So I have this presence where most of my followers and following come from around the world, you know, from all the places that I've traveled, like all the Southern American countries, Japan, Canada, all across the US. So there's so many different places I've been. And I kind of like to put out there like Hawaii. Like I want people to understand what Hawaii is. I want people to see it. I want to be proud of it, and I want to rep it. Like before, I would probably never wear like some sort of aloha print because I always thought that was kind of a little more old school, you know. But now with like more modern aloha print coming out,
Lex Breezy, shout out to Lex Breezy.
Yeah, like with these kind of things coming out, and then even in my everyday where I can wear my forces, my Air Forces, and like a baddie outfit, but you know, sometimes put the pool in the ear just to remind people, you know, like kind of giving a good collision of like my worldwide experience, but also making sure that my Hawaii culture is always something that's front and center, and that whenever I get a national platform and whenever I get my moment to speak on it, that I represent Hawaii well, and I just show the world the aloha that we all carry within us, and am a good representation of the island.
Yes, I love it, Mahalo. Great answer. I like to think that we're in a, you know, this era of like modern Hawaiians, modern local people, because it's like, of course we wanna, you know, look back to our kupunas, our elders, and be like, hey, what did they do? How did they dress? How did they speak? What did they eat? How did they live? But I don't think we need to be exactly like them, you know? Like, yeah, maybe we can, you know, wear our aloha print like, you know, our kupunas did. Not, you know, in the, still like this generation. I'm not talking about like King Kamehameha days.
Models.
Yeah. And then, but also be like, yeah, but I'm also going to rock Air Force Ones, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think we have to be ashamed of who we are as a person. Like maybe you don't like certain things, like you're not interested in surfing, you're not interested in growing kalo, but you know you perpetuate the culture in a different way.
But I think it's really important now to make sure that we as Hawaiians are learning these things. Like you don't necessarily have to participate in the act of surfing or the act of planting the kalo all the time, but I think that in order to keep our Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian spirit alive, we need to at least understand these things and pass it down to the next generation, regardless of if you like are a full-time kalo planter or a full-time hula halal dancer, you know? So I think it's just important to kind of just have that broad spectrum, understand it, live it, love it, put it at the front and center, make it cool, you know? Because I felt like in the past, it was kind of something like with the history of Hawaii where it's kind of pushed to the back burner, where it's like we weren't even allowed to speak, we weren't even allowed to dance, we weren't allowed to do anything, and now we're coming to this place of like trying to make it like okay again. And over the years we've gotten better and better, but I think it's important for people in our position, you know, where it's like trendy and whatever it may be, who can reach that different crowd of people who may not be always engulfed in, you know, the lahui and the experience of learning Hawaiian culture, and like kind of blend the worlds, and to the point that eventually everybody just has the culture knowledge within them and can perpetuate it for years to come.
Wow, yeah, what she said. I that's a great answer, and I kind of want to retract what I said about everybody should. I think I'm being too easy on people. Maybe I gotta be a little bit more strict. I'm just like, it's okay if you don't want to do that. But you're right. I think maybe if you don't want to do it, at least learn and maybe try. Yeah. And realize that it was such an important facet of our culture. Yeah. And maybe you should be a little bit more into it or involved in any way, because it is what makes us who we are. Yeah. You know? And I think being able to do those things, those traditional things, really makes you connect with the culture a little bit more than you you can when just like staying at home watching the Merry Monarch.
Yeah.
Or just wearing an aloha shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And it's hard because of social media. I mean, we feel so connected to all of these different cultures of like, that are just spewed on us from like.
A lot of different influences.
Yeah, there's so many different influences. So I think it is hard. It's a hard time to navigate our identities, but I think setting the standard and like people of our nature and status kind of just leading the way for the next generation who is looking for that identity. And like, I mean, I'm setting my example of like God as my foundation and my Hawaiian culture as something that I am very passionate about and putting at the forefront. So hopefully that can inspire the next generation. And, you know, we don't have to wear our malos around, but, you know, we can support local. We can do things every now and then and slowly integrate things more so into our lives.
Yeah, I like what you said about, you know, making it cool again, making it trendy, because I think we almost have to create this fear of missing out so that other people will want to do it, you know, because that's what it is. It's like, you know, you're wearing those Air Force Ones and it's like, oh, I want to look just like that. But, you know, if all of us was just like taking off our slippers, going in the lo'i and be like, everybody's doing it. Oh, maybe I should be doing it too. Everybody's speaking Hawaiian. Maybe I should be doing it too.
Influencer life.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I guess we don't have enough influencers influencing those kind of things, but it's still pretty new. But I think maybe in the next couple of years, because we do have some people, and with the, you know, social media, it's like so accessible. Maybe we'll be seeing that. So that's something I'm excited for, to see how like the local influencer kind of evolves. Because, you know, in the beginning, there's North Shore people going diving and all this nice scenery influencer people like come to Hawaii or top 5 things to do in Hawaii. How come when I see those videos, I don't see top 5 things to do in Hawaii? Check out Iolani Palace and learn the history or something. Go to a lo'i, plant some kalo, do these traditional things. It's always like, check out this great, amazing hike where it's illegal to go, but if you go at 4 o'clock in the morning, you won't get caught. You know, something like that. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good to see where it all goes. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm perfect or that I know everything, because I really don't. But I do have an eager heart to learn, and I mean I am a pretty decent amount Hawaiian. Like, I can get Hawaiian homes, so.
Oh, wow. Show me your papers. You're going to flex that?
No, but I'm just saying, like, as somebody
That's awesome.
with that much, like, with Hawaiian, like, I should know. And we should know as Hawaiians. So.
I think anybody just living here, honestly.
Yes.
Anybody reaping the benefits of Hawaii should know about Hawaii.
Yeah, totally.
Even if you don't have the blood. But that's my hot take.
Oh man, that was a question.
We're not done yet.
Oh, I'm scared.
No, that was really good, and something that we're also going to be talking about. You know, we're still in our 20s. I got 1 more year left of my 20s, so I can still say that. But yeah, we're just trying to navigate, you know, our identities, where we fit into this modern era of Hawaii. Yeah. Being Hawaiian, being Puerto Rican, in Hawaii, you know, living in Hawaii, not being Hawaiian. All these things that just make us so confused. But it's good that we can talk about it openly. Yeah. You know, I feel all about starting the conversation.
Yep, totally. It's like the social media and all these different influences. But I think at the end of the day, it's just like you were saying, like just having that clear mindset and just being like, you know what? It's not that deep. I'm Hawaiian. I live in Hawaii. I'm going to learn about my culture and I'm going to perpetuate it. It doesn't matter what our past was of like trying to be silenced. Like now we're going to all be loud and vocal and scream it from the rooftops together, you know?
Ayo. I love it. All right. So we'll go off of this topic a little bit now. I just want to talk about you. What are you most proud of?
Most proud of? It's a good question. All the good questions today. I'd say that probably what I'm most proud of is where I am right now and my ability to kind of challenge the status quo and stand confidently as the woman that I am today. So a lot of people can ask about any achievements or any medals or degrees, but I think at the end of the day, it's like really about where your heart is at and the person that you are. And I can genuinely say that I'm proud of the person that I've become against all odds And I'm thankful for the people that I get to surround myself with, and thankful for the amazing support that I've had from the people here in Hawaii, the people around the world, and everyone just kind of following along my journey. Because from young baby days, I've always been so curious as to why people cared about softball so much, and I've never seen it like this before. So I'm just thankful for where I am, and I think that's probably my greatest accomplishment to where I am now, is being confident in who I am, and then pushing other people to be confident in who they are as well.
Love that. Such an insightful answer. Okay, what is something you wish people knew about you that they don't?
It's a good one too.
It's one of my favorite questions. I love asking people this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people identify me with either sports, or if they seen me through like modeling of some sort.
Hawaii's Finest. I've seen you on Hawaii's Finest before.
Hawaii's Finest. Yeah, it was so fun. I was just at the Hawaii's Finest Ohana Fest at the Shell this past weekend on the stage, and then I was out there with Mikey doing the dance competition. It was like so much fun. Such a good crowd, 2 nights. But yeah, so I think people can mostly associate me with either seeing me on TV playing for sports, or seeing me as some sort of host or something like that, or model. But I think a lot of people don't know that I'm a serial businesswoman. Like, she sells Kellogg's, Raisin Bran. Oh my goodness, not that kind. Not that kind cereal.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
I am the other kind cereal, where I do a lot of businesses. Like I said, I always push the status quo. Out of college, someone challenged me and said like I would never be able to make 6 figures right out of college, and that like softball wasn't good enough, and why wouldn't I go corporate, and what I need to start at the bottom, because you need to start at the bottom to be corporate. So I said, bet. And I went and applied for a software company in New York just for fun at this point, because I was still playing ball and I got to play pro ball. But at this point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to prove everyone wrong just to show them and show myself that, like, I'm more than an athlete. So I got the role as an account executive for one of the world's largest brand sponsorship software services out of New York, where I was working remote. And I worked my way up to senior account executive pretty quickly. And I was on this team with like it was like me, and I hope none of my friends are listening. Just pretend they're not. And these 6 white dudes, I don't want to like call my friends white dudes, but it's like me and these 6 white dudes, and they're just like these sales.
You call it
like,
how you see it.
Yeah, they do sales, and they're just so awesome at it, and it was just so very intimidating. My first year coming out of college, and kind of a job that I was like underqualified for, air quotes. So I was so confident that like I found my little niche of like, okay, I do marketing all the time. I've done it all throughout school, and I know how to play sports. Like, this is made for me. So I was facilitating like 6-figure deals between like the like Fortune 500 companies and like some of the largest like professional teams and players. There was even one opportunity where we were trying to close a deal with like Logan Paul and his manager. So I think a lot of people know me for like my good vibes and all of that in sports, but a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes, when it comes to business, I can grind. Lady. I can grind, you know? Yeah. So I love talking stories with anyone who's like entrepreneurial. I think that's why we totally connected off the gate. Yeah, so,
I think we had a little bit of this conversation the first time we met on the Vita Mia, because I remember you telling me about how you're trying to think of your next step, because I don't think you were living here at that point, because it was over a year ago. Yeah. And you're telling me how you were working for that software company, and so it's about like, oh, I want to be making 6 figures, because I think I was just asking you questions. Yeah. And we were talking about our goals, like, because Hawaiiverse was just taking off.
Yeah, it was we're
talking about our goals and stuff. Yeah. So it's so cool to see everything come to fruition. And I remember at a couple months later, after that point, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go play professional softball again. You just got the call to go to, I think it was Athletes Unlimited. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool to see that journey. Yeah. And I will attest to her hustle, because she has, ever since I met her, she's done a lot in that time. You got your foundation, you know, you got the businesses. You have a marketing business, right?
Yeah, I have a marketing company.
Yeah, the Kama training as well. So it's like, what can this girl do?
Oh, man.
Can you sing?
Oh, my goodness. I get asked this only every day after dating a singer.
You date one singer and everybody just thinks you can sing.
I know. I mean, I did song contests. We swept my senior year, class of 2015, Green Machine.
So you didn't answer the question.
You see that? That's professional avoiding the question, like a true PR.
I'm gonna ask Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting pretty good at harmonies. So if you guys see me on the stage behind him, backing him up soon, just like mind your guys' business, okay? Yeah. Don't say anything.
Well, we're gonna need to see you sing in his next music video then. Oh
my goodness, you're bringing that up because that's how we met, huh?
It's okay. Do you mind telling the story? It's such a beautiful story.
It is a good story.
Drop some cute. What is it? Cute meat. Cute meats on us.
Yes, Okay, so let's dive a little into relationship status. Yep. So I came out of a long relationship earlier, like during COVID sometime, and was kind of like soul searching. Was in this mode of like really putting myself first, not gonna settle for anything less than amazing because, like I said, life is short. So, looking for someone who could support me, blah, blah, blah. But I was really focused on myself. And then I get a message from this person that I didn't know saying like, hey, can you be in my music video? And at this point, like normally I get like a couple music video requests every now and then. But it's always the typical like bikini girl walking on the beach. And then you got the uncles doing the uncle sway with the shoulders and the sway, and I'm just like, oh man, like that's not the vibe for, like that's not my brand. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I just thought of J-Boog's music video when you said that. Did J-Boog ask you?
I am not gonna name any names.
Nice to know.
Oh my goodness, that's like every Hawai'i music video ever. So basically, he was like, hey, I have this music video coming out. Would you like to be in it? And I immediately assumed that that was the whole picture that got painted in my head. So I immediately cringed at the thought of that. And then he was like, oh, I can send you the song. So I was like, yeah, send me over the song so I can feel out the vibe. And it was like this beautiful romance song, R&B. It was so amazing. So I was like, oh yeah, this is totally like cute and different, and like I love this song. It's so good. Yeah. It was amazing when I first heard it. So I was like, heck yeah. And then obviously, I don't even know if he knows this. I did my research because I was just like, not gonna meet up with a serial killer. So I searched him up and I was like, okay, this seems like he could be a solid friend. There it is, folks. Friend.
You tried friend zoning him.
Tried the friend zone. And then we ended up meeting up. So he wanted to meet one-on-one so then we could like connect a little, since the music video was pretty like intimate because it's a love song and we would be the leading actors. And he was like, oh, we should get to know each other first, a little bit at least, instead of just showing up and like doing the thing. But that didn't end up working out. So I ended up meeting at his house and I met his whole family that day. like I've never met a faster like meet of the family, day one. So I met his mom, his sister, his grandma, his sister's boyfriend, like all of them were there. We had like a whole spread of food. And
but it wasn't, you guys weren't like a thing at that point.
No.
So there was no pressure, right?
No
so
pressure, yeah. We didn't know each other at all, nothing. You're gonna have to like ask him his side of the story, but no pressure at all. And then I get there and he does not talk really at all. Like it's like the me and his mom show the whole time. So me and Auntie connected on different levels that night, and Dylan just sat there smiling in the corner.
He's just shy, he's all blushy, he's just like thinking of his dream girl.
So that's the funny part of the story that I always like to tell. And then after that, maybe we hung out like a couple more times, just like super casual vibes, like really just vibing out as like friends. And then we get to the music video and we're actually only friends in the music video. So if you guys search up the Is Love music video by Dylan Pakele.
Beautiful song, beautiful music video. Yeah,
we're only friends, and a lot of people don't believe that, but it's so true. Like throughout the whole music video. It was so fun. Like we did like a lifting scene and we were like dancing on the beach. And there was a scene where we're like forehead to forehead. That's like pretty fast in the music video, but gosh, it felt like a lifetime in person because his whole family was there. Like I'm talking more than the first time I met him. It was like his whole family tree and more. Yeah. And like we were forehead to forehead and we were just friends and kind of just meeting. So we're like this. And then all his uncles are like, do it, Dylan, it's right there. Do it. And I was like, don't you dare do it. I was like, don't you dare lean in.
Extend those lips.
I was like, do not. Your whole family's watching us and all the uncles are like, junk you. And then we have to like do it one more time and they're like, there it is again. It's right there, forehead to forehead. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
BTS.
The BTS is so hilarious. And then it ended up like we were just friends in the music video, so it's always fun to like go back and watch us. Like I would love to see an updated version because now we've been dating for a long time.
Now it'll just be full makeout set, yeah.
Oh my goodness, definitely not.
That's the extended after hour music video.
Oh, Kamaka. No, guys, that one isn't out for release.
Classic. Well, Dylan's a great guy. I met you two at the same time on the Vita Mia on the boat, the concert. I think
we were just friends.
Kalei Mao was singing, and he just came as like a backup singer. Yeah. And I met you two and just loved the both of you right off the bat. And
everyone on the Vita Mia was like, when is this gonna be a thing?
Even me. I think let's see. Okay, so I met you two and I asked Dylan. I was like, oh, so is that your wahine? And he's like, oh no, we're just like friends. He said that, and I was like, and then I think later that day, I think I commented on both of your stories, like with the eyes, like the emoji eyes or something. Like,
you got to truly see this blossom into where it's at today.
I love it. I feel like I love seeing like real life love stories. Like I'm such a big advocate on that.
I love love,
and it's just I think it's one just because I love seeing people happy.
Yeah.
You know, so seeing somebody or people, a couple, whoever, happy and like happy together. Like when you have two awesome people and they come together and it works, it's so good, you know? Because that doesn't always happen. Like you could be an amazing person, and you come together and it doesn't always work like that, you know?
Yeah.
There could be differences, or just like you're just not interested in the same thing, but. I love your love story, and
it's so
Dylan's
fun.
Awesome. I've worked with him a couple times with Hawaiiverse. He's gonna be in one of our YouTube video series that we're gonna be releasing when our app comes out. Yeah, so it's like power couple right there.
Yeah, it makes me so happy, and I was definitely in a stage of I was like, he's not my type. I'm definitely not even interested in a relationship, and then it just blossomed.
You heard him sing, you're like,
he was doing the most. Maybe he wrote me a few songs behind the scenes to try and win me over. It's showing them to me out the gate. But that's, I don't know, I won't confirm or deny that actually happening.
I think he slid into your DMs.
With the whole mission.
He had this whole plan. One day you're gonna see like just some paper's gonna fall out of his like dresser or something. It's gonna be like a whole like 10-step plan of how to get Kamalani. It's gonna be like slide into DM, ask to be music video. Say we need to hang out for the music video for chemistry.
Right song.
Yeah. I already have my family there, so she already meets the family. So when we're together, there's no pressure to meet the family.
Oh my gosh.
That's my theory. That's my theory.
Oh, that would crack me up.
I'm a skeptic, so.
But yeah, that's our little love story.
Awesome, love it. Yeah, aloha Dylan if you're watching.
He's
listening.
For sure watching.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting to the end of the podcast. Just got a couple more questions. What are you most grateful for?
Most grateful for family.
Mm-hmm.
Family, friends, the people that surround me and support me. It's hard because I'm a really busy gal, but I hope that everybody knows that I love them so much, and everyone gives me so much support, and everything that I've accomplished is not alone. Like if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yep. So that's why I'm beyond grateful for all the people supporting me and my family, because without everyone and without the support of friends, family, fans, I would not be who I am or where I am today.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. That would be my answer too.
Nice.
All right. So what are your future goals? What do you have coming up? What are, you have a lot of businesses. You probably have a couple more seasons. I don't know. Playing softball 1 or 2. Depends how the arm holds up.
Seriously, yeah. For sure, softball is something that's happening November, and then maybe next year there's a few huge tournaments, opportunities to collect a few more medals, and then I might hang it up, but we'll see. And then obviously here I have my foundation and all of my different companies that I'm running right now, my marketing and coaching and all of that. So hopefully everything's like running smoothly and it gets to the place where it can be a little bit more automated, and I'm a little more hands off. But yeah, my overall, like right now I'm really focused on just supporting the softball athletes here in Hawaii. And that's like my big thing moving forward, supporting softball athletes and then just supporting people in general, empowering everyone I can.
How do you balance everything? And like, do you have a team? Or do you have things automated already, like Klaviyo and like...
things, that's a great question. Talking about balance, like it's just absolutely craziness. Like would not recommend what I'm doing, but I mean, it works for me.
Yeah.
Like for example, today, wake up in the morning, hit a quick workout to make sure I'm still in shape for season. And then I head straight to the doctor's appointment. From there, I head straight here, which is why I was flat ironing my hair. And the whole team is over here telling me, like, why am I flat ironing my hair? It's like, because I just came from the doctor's. Right after this, I'm going to another appointment. I have a super quick business meeting that I got to jump on Zoom. And then straight from there, one more appointment. And then a potential shoot with a brand later today. And then life group, which is where we do our church and like devotionals with my life group later on tonight. And by that time, it's already like 9 p.m. And that's like a normal day in the life. So if you see me with this giant black bag, that's just like, oh my goodness, so big. My whole life is in here. Like I have like, nobody robbed me, but like my laptop, iPad, everything, like life story is in there, like, and then I carry around multiple outfit changes because I'm not gonna go show up at my doctor's appointment like this and stuff. So it's just like I always have my big bag with all my business stuff, and then my little bag with all my different outfits that I need for the day.
Wow. So going off that, do you want to share your life hack with us? Is that your life hack?
My life hack. I did want to say that my life hack is to like always be prepared with every possible outfit and flat iron that you need. But I think that my actual life hack would be to just be willing to do the things that nobody else is willing to do. That is truly the thing that separates the good from the great. And I think that when you're willing to do the things that other people won't do, put in that extra hour of practice, do that extra certification for your job, like do that extra good deed for someone. I think waking up at 3 a.m. when I used to work in New York, I did that for like a whole year. So it's like doing the things that nobody else is going to do is the reason that separates you from the normal or you from the good, So I think when people look at me and they're like, wow, you've achieved greatness is what people can say. I mean, I still feel like I have a lot to work on. But when people look at my life, I think that the reason that I've been able to achieve so much is because I'm always willing to put in the extra work. You can always count on me to outwork my competition every single time. And I think that's probably the biggest life hack, along with putting God at the center of our lives. Because for me, I think that when you put him at the center, it truly just alleviates all the pain and just not pain, but like all the worries. For me, it's like I have all of these things that I'm carrying, and alone it feels like a lot. But I know that when you have God and him at the center, I mean, everything is on his hands. And everything that I'm accomplishing is because I'm a vessel for him and for his mission on my life. So there's no stress for me. Like I walk around with my 5 appointments per day, stress-free, because truly at this point, it's like I'm really just a vessel, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to have my platform and be where I am today. But it's not something that I'm stressed out with, like, oh, I have to do my business. Oh, this is due. Oh, I have to run over to the Hawaiiverse podcast. It's like, I mean, everything's working out on his plan.
Yeah. I like that, kind of just giving up control.
Yeah,
I think that's something that holds back a lot of people. It's like we also want to be in control, you know, and realizing that, you know, there's only so much we can control in our lives.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's so many things out of our control. And it's like, well, I don't know what the saying is. It's like life is like 90% of what happens to you and 10% of how you react to it, you know. So I think just keeping that in mind, keeping whatever, like, you know, if you're spiritual, keeping that, you know, whatever you believe in as the core, as the forefront is, you know, so important. Love that. Okay, so just got some 5 rapid fire questions and then we'll end the podcast. All right.
Nice. Let's go.
Favorite pitch?
Rise ball.
Favorite sport to watch?
Football.
Oh, what's your team? Oh, you said Cowboys. Boo.
Cowboys.
Okay. All right. Favorite childhood snack?
Childhood snack? Dry ramen.
Oh, that's classic. In the little Ziploc bag.
Yep.
You
You
put
gotta
the little
squish it up.
Yeah. Classic.
Classic.
Oh, that's how you know you're local. All right. Favorite local song?
Local song is Love.
Okay, unbiased local song.
Unbiased local song, Sweet Darling, Fiji. So good.
I love that song.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite vacation destination?
Vacation destination would probably be, I always wanted to go to Bali. That's my dream.
When are you going to go?
I don't know. When are we going?
Let's go. Let's do a double date there.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be cool. I've never been to Bali. At the top of my list is New Zealand. Want to get back to Madagascar, Japan, and then I would love to go to Bali, Southeast Asia, any of those places. Cool. All right. Well, this is the end of the podcast. Do you have anything else you want to share? Where can we find you? What are your socials?
You guys can find me on Instagram at kama.dung, KAMA.DUNG. I'm also on Twitter. I think I have a TikTok that's kind of inactive, but those are the main places you guys can find me. If you guys want to find me for softball, I have a softball page called Kama Training, which is at Kama_training. And yeah, I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful to be here and talk with you guys, and this is a lot of fun.
Yes, mahalo for coming. I'm happy it finally happened. We were able to talk stories.
I know, it's so fun sharing my life. Hopefully, like some things hit with the people who are listening. And if anybody felt something or has like some sort of entrepreneurial idea, just reach out to me. Would love to talk stories.
Yes, I love that. Okay, well, you're awesome. I hope, you know, whatever you choose to do in the future, it is successful. And, you know, I just wish you the best. And you got a fan here for life. So mahalo. Mahalo Kama for joining us on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Check us out on Hawaiiverse.com, the best place to support local. Spread aloha, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. New episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and you'll hear me next time on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Hui ho.
Hui ho.